Okay, lesson 67, anti-logarithms. This is a pretty simple lesson because we're going to do most of the work on the calculator. Now, keep in mind that when we talk about logarithms, we're talking about an exponent. The exponent is the logarithm, and the number is called the anti-logarithm. So remember how we would have this formula, n equals b to the L power? Well, L is the logarithm, n is the anti-logarithm. So if we have log, this can be rewritten to log base b of n equals L. L is what we're normally looking for. We're usually trying to find the exponent. Now we're going to be given the exponent and the base, and we have to find the number. So when they ask for the anti-logarithm, that's going to be the number, not the base or the exponent, but the number. So let's try these. These are pretty simple. We'll do them mostly on our calculator. If the base is 2, find the anti-logarithm of 4.63. So what they're saying is the base is 2. This is our logarithm, which is our exponent, 4.63. And we are trying to find n. That's our anti-logarithm. So you can easily do this by using your y to the x key on your calculator. Let me see if I can pull mine up here. I think I closed it. Hold on one second. Okay, so if we're going to do this problem, all we would do is take 2 to the x to the y button. I have it backward. X to the y of 4.63. You just pop in your calculator, and you're going to get out your answer. So you can see this is pretty simple. You're just going to get 24.76. Your book has you estimate it before you start. Let me just fix this in case you're using your calculator. Your book has you, I can't seem to get this right, x to the y or y to the x, I can't remember now. It is x to the y. Okay. The book has you estimate first. It's saying, okay, first figure out 2 to the 4th. We know that that is 16. And then do 2 to the 5th. And we know that's 32. So this number has to be somewhere in between. But you can just go directly to your calculator. Just get your base. This number, when they say of, that means your exponent, and your anti-logarithm is the number. Let's try another one. They're going to do it. It's going to be written in many different ways. So that's what we have to do in this lesson. This one says, find the anti-logarithm of 4.63 if the base is 10. Now this is a little bit different. When we're dealing with base of 10 or base of e, we can use the inverse log button in your calculator. So my little computer one doesn't have that. So you would do inverse log of the number. So if we're not going to use our log button on our calculator, the base would be 10. The exponent would be 4.63, and you could just put that in your calculator using the y to the e button. Or in your calculator you can enter, I don't even have my calculator here, it ended up being a car that was taken away today. So so you could just do 4.63, and then you would do your inverse button, and then your log button. This is when it's base 10, because the log on your calculator is base 10. So just think the anti-log is the inverse log, and you just plug that into your calculator, and you would get 42,657.95. Alright, let's try another one. This time it's a base E. Same thing, you could just use your inverse. I think you put your number in first. You have to play around with your individual calculators, but 4.63, and then you would do your inverse natural log, because remember, natural log is base E. So that's all you would do. You just put that in, inverse natural log, and that will give you the anti-log with a base of E. You could always do it the other way. E to the 4.63, you have an E button on your calculator too, and that would give you an answer of 102.51. See how easy these are? Okay, 2 more. This one is write the value of e to 5 decimal places. Well, you could do this. You could just say e to the first power. I think that's pretty the easiest. Or you could just use your calculator again. You would just say this one would actually be 1, because that's your exponent, inverse natural log, because your base is e, would give you n. And that will give you the same answer. You would get e equals 2.71828. And our last problem. Estimate, this is a different way to do it, the anti-log base e of negative 3.2. So it's still the same thing. Find the anti-log of negative 3.2. So you could either do your calculator. I'm not exactly sure. I showed my calculator here. If you can do an anti-log, an inverse log of a negative number. But this is the same thing. Your base is e, your exponent is negative 3.2. You could either use your y to the x straight out with that, or you could do, if it won't take a negative number, you could have e to the positive 3.2. And you put that in your calculator, and you get 0.040762. So that's all it is. It's just finding the n instead of the exponent given the base and the exponent. So you can either rewrite it as a base to the exponent, use your calculator, or you can say the inverse. If it's a base 10, you use the inverse log. If it's a base e, you use the inverse natural log. And if the base is something like 2, you have to do it like this, using the x to the y button. So that's it for lesson 67.